Among all the live service multiplayer games that I play and cover on this channel, every now and then a story-driven single-player game comes along that you simply have to pay attention to. Whether it's walking through the radioactive streets of Moscow in the Metro series, or climbing rooftops to escape from the volatiles in Dying Light, these kinds of games often deliver an amazing experience that you don't always find in multiplayer titles. And this time is no different. Because now we got an upcoming story-driven single-player game called Doom: The Dark Ages, another entry in the legendary franchise. The previous two titles, Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, were really loved and widely praised once they launched, but before releasing, there was still some skepticism, even though most players ended up loving them in the end. This time around though, after reading through a lot of comments and posts on social media, the reception feels a bit more mixed than usual. Some people are starting to feel like Doom: The Dark Ages might be a little too different from what they're used to, with concerns that the game might lean too heavily into arcade-style elements or focus too much on melee combat that not every player is familiar with. So I thought we could have an honest discussion about what to expect from Doom: The Dark Ages, what is different in comparison to the older titles, and with the help from you guys in the comment section below, determine whether it's a game you should play or skip. Now, you probably heard this before, but this new game puts a lot more emphasis on a grounded combat experience. In previous titles like Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, the pace felt much faster. There was a heavier focus on guns, acrobatic movement, and using tools like the meat hook or jump pads to swing around the map. Constant mobility was a big part of maintaining momentum in every fight. This time around though, you will still have guns and some weapons from Doom Eternal are returning, but the game also introduces new melee options like a shield saw and a flail that let you block, parry, and smash enemies up close. There's a much stronger focus on parrying and holding your ground, and that may not be everyone's cup of tea. While the overall pacing is still fast, some melee attacks now trigger brief slow motion effects, which makes the combat feel a bit more controlled. It's hard to fully judge without playing it, but one thing is clear, the combat now leans more toward brute force and taking fights rather than high-speed mobility. The game introduces large-scale segments that are different from what we have seen in past Doom titles. You get to control a giant mech called the Atlan, which is used in certain parts of the game to fight massive demons. It can perform heavy melee attacks to smash through enemies and obstacles, almost like a boss fight with its own set of mechanics. You also get to ride a cyber dragon during a flying section, where you can shoot projectiles at enemies from the air. It's used to travel through certain locations and deal with flying targets, offering a different kind of combat experience from the rest of the game. The glory kill system is still a core part of the combat, but it's been adjusted in a few important ways. Previously, you could stagger enemies and look for the blue or yellow indicator that would signal when you can perform a finishing move. These glory kills or finishing moves would always instantly kill your enemies, but they also locked your camera into a fixed position during the animation. According to the game director, a lot of players tended to approach enemies from the front, so in most cases the game played the same animation over and over, which made the system feel repetitive over time. With Doom: The Dark Ages, the goal is to add more variety and reduce that repetition. Glory kills now function more like executions, allowing you to chain multiple finishers without breaking the flow of combat. You can also approach enemies from the front, side, or behind, triggering different animations depending on the angle, which according to developers should help things feeling fresh. The previous Doom titles included multiplayer modes like Team Deathmatch, King of the Hill, and Battle Mode, but that won't be the case in The Dark Ages. This time, the developers have decided to focus entirely on the single-player experience. Now, most players don't seem too bothered by the change, since Doom has always been known for its campaign, but there are a few folks out there that did enjoy playing multiplayer in previous titles, and according to developers, all resources are now being put into creating the best single-player campaign possible. One game that comes to my mind though when talking about cutting content is Battlefield 2042, which completely removed its single-player campaign. The developers claimed it would offer the best multiplayer experience that the series had ever seen, yet it launched in a broken state full of bugs, missing features, and poor design decisions. Now let's be honest, that's probably not gonna happen to Doom: The Dark Ages, but it's still worth pointing out because, well, when you remove features like multiplayer, the pressure to deliver a strong campaign is now a lot higher. This game will also feature 22 levels, which is nearly double the amount of content seen in Doom Eternal. The levels are described as the largest spaces the series has ever had, built to support open combat encounters and allow for more exploration. While the game isn't open world, it does give you the option to search for secrets, resources, and hidden areas if you want to. And because each level is designed to be larger, they may take up an hour on average to complete. In previous Doom games, especially Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, the story was told shortly through various moments, but the focus was close clearly on the gameplay. But this time, Doom: The Dark Ages seems to be leaning more into scripted moments, cutscenes, and a heavier narrative focus. You will be seeing more cinematics than you normally would in a Doom game, which could either make it more interesting or slow things down depending on how you look at it. And finally, Doom: The Dark Ages includes a more detailed difficulty system that lets players customize various aspects of gameplay. Unlike previous Doom titles, which only let you choose from preset difficulty levels, this time you can individually adjust settings like game speed, enemy aggression, resource drop rates, and day's duration. These options allow you to control how enemies behave, how quickly the combat flows, and how much health or ammo you can recover, giving you more control over how the game plays based on your own preferences. Now, this is why I believe you should play Doom: The Dark Ages regardless. It still feels like a true Doom game at its core. Despite the changes in setting and gameplay approach, the core identity of Doom remains the same: fast-paced combat, brutal action, and momentum-based gameplay. You get to feel like a true badass while playing as the unstoppable Doomslayer. You are still the force that hell fears, and the game gives you all the tools to tear through enemies in creative and satisfying ways. It's chaotic, fun, and it doesn't force you to think. Sometimes you just want to turn your brain off and enjoy a non-stop demon-slaying rampage, and Doom delivers exactly that. Even if you don't care much about Doom's story, the medieval setting adds a fresh twist to the familiar hellish world the series is known for. The environment's lore and overall tone make Doom feel very immersive. And finally, it's once again a refreshing break from the modern live service trend we see all the time. With so many AAA games pushing always online features, seasonal content, battle pass, and other microtransactions, Doom: The Dark Ages stands out as a focused single-player experience. Like I said at the beginning of this video, every now and then it feels good to play a story-driven single-player game, and thank God it happens to come from one of the most legendary franchises of all time. But for some of you out there, you may want to skip this one simply because there's no multiplayer or co-op mode included this time. The new grounded and heavy melee combat style may not appeal to everyone. Large-scale segments like the mech or flying dragon could end up feeling gimmicky. The updated glory system may not deliver the experience you're looking for. The customizable difficulty sliders might weaken the shared experience players will have with the game. And finally, not long after Nintendo decided to raise the prices for their games, Microsoft did the same. And now most of their big games are launching with an $80 price tag. Sure, you can still play Doom: The Dark Ages on Game Pass, but a lot of people will be buying it on Steam. And the fact that there's a $100 edition just to play the game 2 days early is a pretty disappointing practice. And some people might not care about this at all, and that's also totally fine. Whether you agree or disagree with some of these talking points, the reality is that some people are just not gonna like the fact that Doom: The Dark Ages is a completely different game by comparison, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you consider yourself to be a hardcore fan of the Doom series and want to play the game so badly as soon as it comes out, then I guess you could do that. But there are people out there, like me, that do care about the price increase, because when you suddenly raise the price from $70 to $80 on a video game, you then also expect the overall quality of that game to be much higher. And to be honest with you guys, I love Doom. I think it's a good game and people should try it. But damn, I don't think any game is worth $80. It's getting ridiculous. The best thing I could suggest to people that are new to this franchise or people that don't want to spend that much money is to just wait for a sale and play the older titles first. I went back and purchased Doom 2016 for $5 on GOG, and so far I've been having a blast with this game. It still holds up very well and you can expect to have a pretty good time. But hey, once again, that is just my own opinion. Why don't you guys let me know in the comment section below whether you're looking to play or skip Doom: The Dark Ages. If you like this video and want to see more similar content, then make sure to subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you guys for watching the video.